Imagine this. You're kind, you're patient. You give people the benefit of the doubt, and yet somehow you keep ending up feeling small, feeling used, feeling like something precious has been stolen from you. Most people don't realize that the way they forgive is slowly destroying them. They think they're being noble, they think they're being strong. But Friedrich Nietzsche saw through all of it, and he discovered something terrifying about certain types of disrespect. Here's the truth. When you forgive the wrong things, you don't lose someone's respect. You lose something far more valuable. You lose your dignity. You lose your edge. You lose the very thing that makes you dangerous to those who would step on you. In this video, you will discover 4 specific acts of disrespect that Nietzsche's dark psychology warns you to never forgive. And number 3, that's the one almost everyone tolerates. The one that feels small, feels petty, feels like you'd be overreacting to call it out. But Nietzsche believed it silently destroys your ability to trust yourself entirely. So ask yourself right now, how many of these have you already forgiven? And what has that cost you without you even knowing it? Let's begin. 1. When someone publicly humiliates you. Name it clearly. Public humiliation, not a joke, not a tease, but that moment when someone intentionally makes you look foolish in front of others. Why is this so dangerous? Because humiliation isn't just about pain, it's about power. The person doing it isn't angry. They're sending a signal. They are marking their territory. They are telling everyone watching that you are beneath them, that your status is theirs to lower. Nietzsche understood this perfectly through his concept of the will to power. Every human action, he argued, is driven by a desire to assert strength and dominance. When someone humiliates you publicly, they are not making a mistake. They are exercising their will at the expense of yours. And if you forgive that, you are telling them and everyone watching that their assessment was correct. Here's what you lose: your social standing, your reputation, and most importantly, your willingness to defend yourself. Forgive public humiliation once, and you have just trained everyone in that room exactly how to treat you moving forward. Nietzsche would say, a strong individual does not absorb blows to their honor silently. They respond, not with rage, not with revenge, but with absence, with withdrawal, with the clear message, you do not get access to me anymore. So never forgive the person who tries to shrink you in front of others, because they didn't just disrespect you, they declared war on your place in the social world. 2. When someone deliberately lies to your face. This one feels obvious, but watch how many people forgive it anyway. A deliberate lie, not a white lie, not a mistake, not a misunderstanding, a calculated falsehood delivered directly to you. Why is this unforgivable? Because lies are not about information. Lies are about control. When someone lies to you intentionally, they are deciding for you. They are taking away your ability to make real choices based on reality. And that is a profound act of violence against your autonomy. Nietzsche wrote extensively about truth as courage. He believed that facing reality, even ugly reality, was the mark of a strong soul. And he believed that lying was not just dishonest, it was cowardly. It was the tool of the weak who cannot handle your response to the truth. But here's the dark psychology most people miss. When you forgive a deliberate lie, you are not being compassionate. You are signaling that your relationship with reality is flexible. And the liar learns something terrifying. They learn that they can rewrite your world whenever it suits them. What do you lose over time? You lose your grip on what is real. You start questioning yourself. You start wondering if you're paranoid. And slowly, you hand over the keys to your own perception. Nietzsche's rule is brutal but clear. A person who lies to you deliberately has declared that your mind does not matter. Forgive that, and you agree with them. Never forgive the liar. not because you're bitter, but because your sanity depends on protecting the boundary between truth and manipulation. 3. When someone gaslights your reality. This is the one that almost everyone tolerates, but which silently destroys your ability to trust yourself. Gaslighting. When someone does something hurtful, you call it out, and they say, "You're overreacting." That never happened. "You're too sensitive." "You're crazy." Notice what's happening here. They aren't denying the action. They are denying your perception of the action. They are attacking your sanity itself. Nietzsche called this a form of psychological slavery. Why? Because the master-slave dynamic is not just about physical force. It's about who gets to define reality. When you let someone convince you that your own eyes and feelings cannot be trusted, you have surrendered the most fundamental human power, the power to know what you know. Here's the dark truth. Gaslighting is different from lying. Lying misinforms you. Gaslighting makes you doubt your ability to be informed at all. And that is infinitely more destructive. Nietzsche believed that self-trust was the foundation of all strength. "Become who you are," he said. But you cannot become who you are if you constantly question whether what you saw and felt actually happened. What happens when you forgive gaslighting? You lose yourself. Slowly, invisibly, one small reality denial at a time, until one day you realize you don't trust your own memory, your own instincts, or your own pain. This is not something to forgive. This is something to flee from, because the person who gaslights you isn't confused. They are conquering you from the inside out. And Nietzsche would say, the only response is to trust yourself more fiercely than you trust their soothing words. Never forgive the person who tries to rewrite your reality. Your mind is the only thing that is truly yours. 4. When someone betrays your trust for personal gain. The fourth act, betrayal. Not the accidental kind, not the heat-of-the-moment mistake. The cold, calculated betrayal where someone sacrifices you to get something for themselves. A promotion, social approval, an escape from consequences. They knew what they were doing. They weighed you against their benefit, and you lost. Nietzsche saw this as the purest expression of what he called the herd instinct turned toxic. The herd will sacrifice any individual to protect itself. But when an individual betrays you for personal gain, they are not protecting anyone. They are using you as a stepping stone, and that reveals exactly what you are to them. A resource, not a person. Here's why this is unforgivable. Because trust is not a feeling. Trust is a risk calculation. When you trust someone, you give them a weapon and hope they don't use it. Betrayal proves they will. If you forgive betrayal, you are not healing a relationship. You are teaching that person the exact price of your trust. And they now know it's cheaper than their ambition. They will do it again, not because they're evil, because you showed them there's no real consequence. What do you lose? You lose the ability to distinguish between allies and predators. You keep people close who have already shown you exactly who they are. And that is not strength. That is self-deception. Nietzsche's dark psychology is clear on this. Forgive a betrayer and you betray yourself. The strong individual does not seek revenge, but they also do not offer a second chance to someone who has already shown what they do with chances. Never forgive calculated betrayal, not out of anger, out of clarity. They told you who they are, believe them, and walk away. Let's be honest with each other for a moment. Forgiveness can be a beautiful quality. It can free you. It can heal you. It can make you human in the best sense of that word. But forgiving everything is not wisdom. It is sometimes a form of self-abandonment. Nietzsche spent his entire intellectual life warning against the soft tyranny of pretending that all actions deserve the same grace.